match that just had to happen, the United States against the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union won the Olympic gold medal in 1980 in Moscow in an Olympics boycotted by the United States. And as we all know, in 1984 in Los Angeles, it was the United States, the gold medal winner, but boycotted by the Soviet Union. Really, though, since 1977, the Soviet Union has dominated the sport of volleyball, winning world championships and World Cups, and of course the Olympics and all kinds of other competitions along the way. However, recently, the United States has come on strong. This match will really help us, I can kind of understand whether or not the U.S. is going to maintain that position of excellence. Working with us today, our expert commentator on volleyball, Kirk Kilgore, former NCAA All-American from UCLA, now a coach at Pepperdine University. Kirk, we had a chance to visit with the team from the Soviet Union last night, and physically, at least, they really looked awesome.
Well, Bob, they're a huge team. Historically, they've always been big. This may be their biggest team. I think it's going to be a great challenge for the United States hitters to try and get by their big block.
Well, they are a lot bigger than the United States, but this is not exactly the same team as we saw in Los Angeles for the U.S.
No, the U.S. has turned over some players. 4 of their veterans have retired. But the big thing is the setter, Dusty Dvorak, is not with the team. He's elected to play in Italy. We're going to see a young setter, Jeff Stork, from Pepperdine University, in his place. He's only been with the team 2 weeks.
Well, a lot of pressure on young Stork, but how about Timmons from the United States?
Well, that's the other big player that's missing for the United States, Steve Timmons. Big middle blocker, was a key to the United States' resurgence in the last couple of years. Hits out of the back row. They're going to miss his attack and his blocking in the front row.
Okay, Timmons, for those of you who may not have read it, injured his knee in Korea just 2 weeks ago and is out for a whole year, and that's really a setback for the United States. Both teams, though, really want to win this match very badly. It should be a good one. Okay, let's check the starting lineups. First, the Soviet Union. Key men to watch: number 2, Zaitsev, the setter, 2-time Olympian. The oldest man on the court, 32 years old. Also number 3, Alexander Savin, another 2-time Olympian, the big hitter. And this team averages 6 foot 6 inches in height. And for the United States, number 7, Craig Buck, 6 foot 8 inches. The U.S. team needs to have a big day from him against the large Soviet blocks. And number 9, Mike Dodd, a newcomer, really the replacement for the injured Steve Timmons. And number 10, Jeff Stork, a lot of pressure on him. The new setter, as we said, only on the team for 2 weeks. And number 12, Aldis Berzins, very versatile, great defensive skills. And number 13, Pat Powers, so much a part of the offense in the LA Olympics. Number 15, Karch Karai, the captain, probably one of the best all-around players, a very intense player on the court. And we're looking at Coach Doug Beal, the head coach of the U.S. team. He's been with the team since 1976. And sitting next to him, assistant coach Tony Crabb, and Beal's counterpart, Soviet head coach Platonov. We're ready now for the first serve of the game. The rules of volleyball: best 3 out of 5 games to win the match. Each game you must get 15 points and win by 2 points, and you can only gain points while you're serving. Side out, the United States. Pat Powers serving. Chance for the U.S. to get the first point of the game. Good block by the United States, and the United States takes the initial lead 1-0. Out of an 8-team round-robin tournament here. Other teams: Bulgaria, China, Korea, Mexico, Poland, and of course the host Japanese. Winner to be determined on the basis of a round-robin format, with each team meeting every country once. And the U.S. block is hit out now. Side out, the Soviet Union. U.S. leading 1-0. Serving for the Soviet Union, Alexander Sapega, 26-year-old. With those serves come at you like a knuckleball. And the ball is hit out. First game now tied at 1. We're looking at Mike Dodd of the United States, newcomer to the team. And the serve is out. A little sloppy play right here at the start. Side out, the United States. Mike Dodd serving. Set by Zaitsev. Good dig by Aldis Berzins, defensive specialist for the U.S. And that ball right on the button. 2-1 U.S. in the early goings of the best 3 out of 5 match here. Average height for the U.S. team, 6'3". Average height by the Soviet Union, 6'6". How about that height advantage? Kirk, what will that do?
Well, I think the Soviets come out and they try and intimidate you by blocking the ball. And with the size they have, they're going to try and do that. And let's see if the U.S. offense can get around their block.
So the U.S. would try to run a little quicker offense.
Well, they really have to pass the ball well.
Good play by the United States.
Very nice shot by Jeff Stork, the setter. He's in the front row. He can tap that ball down with his left hand being up there.
Okay, Kachkarai, the 4-time All-American from UCLA serving. Okay, here we have coming up now to serve Oleg Smugilov of the Soviet Union. Trying to make the first game even, the U.S. leading 2-1. Here we have him with his spike serve. Well, that thing really comes out here. Kind of a bad break there. Would have been out, but Pat Powers couldn't get out of the way.
And he was definitely trying to get out of the way of the ball. Here we see the jump serve. That ball's dropping very fast. Now, Powers is just trying to get out of the way. Gets him in the feet now. Bob, the back line is in play. If the ball hits the line, it is good. That one was long.
Seems to me that jump serve is pretty risky. Here we had that one out, and now it's side-out U.S. with Jeff Stork serving. Set by Zaitsev. Albert Dillenberg, newcomer to the team. We're looking at him right here. Really powerful. They expect him to be one of their big leaders. Doesn't sound much like a Soviet name, but his father is French. He knows very much about it. In fact, he's a big, strong player. The score tied at 2. Now 3-2 the Soviet Union. Good hit there by number 11, Sapega. And now we're looking at one of the great volleyball players of all time, Zaitsev, the setter for the Soviet Union. He really makes this offense go, doesn't he, Kirk?
He does. He's been around for over 10 years, runs their offense, makes the players be able to hit without a blocker up there, as we saw then.
Okay, 4-2, Soviet Union getting off to a quick start here in the first game. Best 3 out of 5. Kachkarai. Good block by the Soviet Union, and now linking that lead to 5-2. Let's take another look.
See it again. There's Alexander Savin up there in the middle. The Soviets trying to intimidate you. That time it worked.
Okay, Kachkarai trying to just find an open spot. Here's the power of the Soviet Union. Good defensive play by the U.S. Okay, Soviet Union into the net as ruled by Sasaki, the referee from Japan. Side out the United States. Pat Powers serving. Good hit by Sapega. Side out the Soviet Union. And we'll be returning to Kyoto for more of the match, but as we go outside and look at the Higashiyama Mountains, which surround this city, you can see evidence of how popular this sport is in Japan.
Did you know over 43 million people trust much
versus the world in amateur boxing tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Soviet Union serving. The United States now leading 12-11. Service recession by Berzins. Hit from the outside by Pat Powers. And there's the man that was so outstanding for the United States in the Olympics and seems to still be great power hitter from the outside.
As we can see in this replay, Powers goes over the top from the deep court again. He was a great hitter for the U.S. team in the Olympics, and he's continuing now.
6'9", Craig Buck in for the United States for Saunders. Good hit by Soviet Union. In talking to Aldous Berzins last night, he felt that one of the keys for the United States, if they're going to emerge victoriously today, would be really to do a good job digging since they're smaller.
The Soviet team is very big and very strong. We saw Alexander Savin hit over the top. They can all hit high. The U.S. has to dig.
Okay. Here we have Savin serving. Set by Stork to the outside. Kachkarai. Mike Dodd on a high set. Kachkarai again. Blocked out of bounds. Side out, U.S.
Bob, the U.S. has to feel pretty good about this match so far. After a slow start, they've come back and taken the lead.
A lot due to this man, Kachkarai from Santa Barbara, California. Quick set by the Soviet Union. I'll give you an example of their power right there and their intricate offense.
See how high he hit that ball, way over the top of the net and straight down. Dillenberg. Doesn't sound Russian to me.
Here is the big, powerful hitter for the Soviet Union, Shurikin. We can notice by his left hand has been injured, but he is a right-handed hitter, so that shouldn't bother him very much, but he is powerful. Surprisingly, he hasn't been in the game before. Ace serve. Spike serve.
Bob, what happened there? The lineman called that ball out. I thought it was good, and the umpire, the referee, overruled him, and the ball was in.
Well, at any rate, the match is now tied at 12. Spike serve again. That really comes at you, doesn't it? Okay, side out U.S.
Bob, we're going to see a lot more of that jump spike serve as the International Federation has just outlawed blocking serve.
And right back in the game, Zaitsev, captain of the team, 32 years old. He's been on this Soviet Union team since 1974. What a contrast between the man who is serving right now, Jeff Stork, who's only been on the U.S. team for 2 weeks. That one looked out, but
U.S. was in the net. The referee saw the U.S. in the net. You may not touch the net at any time during the play.
Okay, here we have number 10. Sorokilet serving for the Soviet Union. Second option. Side out U.S. Game tied at 12. Craig Buck serving for the United States from Tarzana, California. Graduate of Pepperdine. Zaitsev setting from the backcourt. Ball is hit out. Side out. Soviet Union. This match has really gone back and forth ever since the United States pulled even in this latter part of the game. Pat Powers was tipped by the Soviet Union. Side out U.S. Aldous Berzins serving from Kenneth Square, Pennsylvania. Good serve by Berzins.
And Bob, one of the reasons Aldous Berzins plays in that U.S. team, he passes a lot of balls, plays defense, and serves very tough.
U.S. Volleyball Player of the Year in 1983. United States leading 13-12. Side out Soviet Union. Zaitsev serving.
That was Alexander Savin on the hit.
Good hit by Koch Karai.
Let's see a replay. There's a set outside the Karai. That's the first time Karai got the set where he wanted it, put it between the blockers.
Coach Doug Beal feels that Koch Karai in this tournament so far has been playing better than ever before. Feels that perhaps he's taken up a little of the slack because they've lost Dusty Dvorak and Steve Timmons because of his knee injury 2 weeks ago in South Korea. Side out, Soviet Union, they trail 13-12. And fake to the middle, outside to Koch Karai. Good hit by Karai. What a leader for this U.S. team, who in his senior year in 1982, along with John Elway and 3 others, won the NCAA Award for Athletic and Academic Achievement. Serving now for the United States, 27-year-old Mike Dodd from Manhattan Beach.
Bob, Mike's not a new player on this team. He was a starter 2 years ago before he decided to go to Italy and play.
A welcome addition right now, though, on the U.S. team with the injury to Steve Timmons, also a good 2-man beach volleyball player. Set by Zaitsev, fake to the corner. Good save by Aldous Berzins. The United States now, game point, leading 14-12.
And Bob, Pat Powers is really doing the job he has to do, putting those deep balls away and hitting the ball.
A lot of people felt that they didn't have the depth to be able to stay with this team. And they've won the first game. The United States wins the first game, best 3 out of 5 for the match, 15-12. Okay, the very powerful team from the Soviet Union, I guess somewhat surprised by the team from the United States as they get off to an outstanding first game. We'll be back later with the U.S. versus the USSR volleyball match.
I'm starved.
National men's volleyball match between the United States, the reigning Olympic champions, and the perennial world power, the Soviet Union. The U.S. won the first 2 games, but the Soviets came back to win game number 3. Mike Dodd serving for the United States, number 9. They trail 12-8. And this is the 4th game, leading still 2-1, but really kind of need to put on a spurt here to pull this out. I think if this went to 5, they might be in some trouble.
Well, I think it would favor the Soviet Union. They have a lot more experience on the floor. And we've seen this U.S. team. They came back in the first 2 games. I think if they're going to win this match, they must come back now and win this game.
Well, we can see some of the awesome power that they have right there. Man who made that hit, Sapega, now serving. Aldous Berzins. U.S. into the net.
Let's take a look at it in a replay. You see the set. The setter jump sets the ball. Buck's up there. He follows through with his hand and just catches it with his finger after hitting it.
Okay. Soviet Union leading 13-8. Set by Ludi's. Ball hit out. Now it's game point, 14-8. 1 point away from tying this match at 2 games each.
I think we're seeing Ricky Ludi's here setting for the U.S. team. He and Craig Buck have not connected on the last 2 plays.
Aldous Berzins receiving the serve. Saunders. Point for the Soviet Union. They win the 4th game 15-8. This match is all tied up. 2 games each. And it's timeout on the court. And we'll be going to the 5th and decisive game of this match between the United States and the Soviet Union. But as the teams get ready, let's take a look at Kyoto. Looking down from the Higashiyama Mountains in the year 794, Emperor Kamu surveyed a valley which he said would be a great natural fortress, and thus was founded the imperial capital of Japan. It was named Kyoto, or capital of capitals, and nearly 1,300 years later, its palaces, shrines, and pagodas still inspire reverence. These monuments of the past have been preserved in Kyoto, which was spared the ravages of World War II bombing. The city itself is a textbook of Japanese culture, from the tea ceremonies to the temple architecture, and from the festivals to the Zen gardens. While her 1.4 million citizens respect and honor her proud heritage in many facets of everyday life, the younger generation symbolizes her commitment to the future. It's a great place to sightsee, with a smile and a wave the rule rather than the exception, for kids of all ages, including the biggest kid of all, I guess. And with the match tied at 2 games each, we're back for the 5th and deciding game. Here we have Aldous Berzins serving. The United States, set by Zaitsev. And a good placement by Zaitsev. The rules: you must win, as we have said, 3 out of 5 to win the match. Each game, 15 points. You have to win by 2 points, and you can only gain points while you're serving. Soviet Union serving. The United States won the first 2 games, 15-12, 15-13, but the Soviet Union really came back strong to win the 3rd 15-8 and the 4th 15-8. All right, it's side out, the United States. Mike Dodd serving, graduate of San Diego State. Working with me, Kirk Kilgore. Kirk, it looks as though the Soviet Union, with their tremendous power and probably more depth than the U.S. team has really come back strong, obviously. But what's this going to mean for the U.S. team?
Well, I think the U.S. team has to do 2 things. They have to receive serves so Jeff Stork can set the ball to their offense. And they also have to find a way to stop Vladimir Shurikin, who's just been awesome in this match.
Shurikin, number 5, came off the bench and has been outstanding. As they take just a moment here to wipe the perspiration off the floor. Score is 1-0 Soviet Union. Alexander Sabin, number 3, serving. Outside to Kachkarai. Good save by Aldous Berzins. Good save by the Soviet Union. U.S. continues to go to Karai on the outside with their sets. Powers from the other side.
I think Stork's got to find a way to get to Buck in the middle to help his outside hitters more.
Outside by Craig Buck, so it is point for the Soviet Union.
Here we get to see Buck. He's up in the air. His hands didn't get over. You see his left hand never got over the net. He blocked the ball deep because of that.
Sabin serving for the Soviet Union. They lead 2-0. Good save by the Soviet Union. Shurikin again. What power. Good save. 3-0 Soviet Union. Shurikin, the man they continue to go to here, really putting the pressure on the United States.
Imagine.
Union serving, leading 11-7. The United States won the first 2 games. Soviet Union came back and won the next 2.
Nice put away by Mike Dodd. The U.S. needed that. Good jump set by Jeff Stork.
Looking at Coach Doug Beal, who will be leaving the U.S. program as the coach, only to become the national director. His job will be taken over this spring by Mark Dunphy. Marv is now the head coach of Pepperdine University. We're looking at Pat Powers. United States gained a point there, 11-8. They need to get back in this match. What a confrontation this has been. Great power by the Soviet Union.
Bob, and there's the main reason. Vladimir Surikin, number 5.
Tremendous power.
They've been going to him every time. The setter Zaitsev smartly going to him. He's putting every ball away.
Okay, you can only gain points while you're serving in volleyball. Aldous Berzins. Saved by the Kachkarai. Side out U.S.
Nice set by Jeff Stork. He's a new setter, and they've only been with the team 2 weeks. Nice set outside to Karshkarai, who put the ball away.
And we have Eric Wirtz coming in for Mike Dodd. Eric Wirtz will probably only be in there a few plays just to play in the backcourt.
Here, Coach Doug Beal hopes that Wirtz can get a tough serve, maybe dig a ball, and get him back in this game. Bob, they came back the first 2 games.
Good serve right there. Might have been a good substitution. Kachkarai from the outside. So the United States coming back now. 11-9 Soviet Union, and this is the 5th and deciding game. Timeout Soviet Union. You can hear the words of Coach Platonov. Interesting that both Coach Platonov and Coach Beal of the United States are very good friends and spend a lot of time talking over volleyball. As a matter of fact, both teams are very friendly.
The teams are very friendly. They get along together. You know, this is an important match for the Soviets. They missed the Olympic Games. They felt they should have been in the gold medal match. I'm not so sure it's as important for the U.S., but they want to win, and they want to prove that they are the best team in the world, even without 2 of their best players.
I'm sure they want to win. There have been some big changes on both teams for that matter, but I would say more particularly with the United States. Dusty Dvorak, the setter in Los Angeles, who did such a great job, is now playing in Italy in a league there. And Steve Timmons, the big hit in the United States, as the United States gets another point, 11-10. We were mentioning Steve Timmons 2 weeks ago in South Korea, blew his knee out and will be lost to the team for 1 whole year. That's a tough break for them and has really hurt them. The U.S. a chance to get even. Good heads-up play by Soviet Union, finding the open court, side out.
That was
11-10.
Alexander Sabin. He's been with the team since early 70s, and you can see his smart over the top. Off-speed play right down in the middle of the court. Nobody there. You might say that Mike Dodd is replacing Steve Timmons in the USA lineup. He's done a nice job today, Bob.
Okay, serving. Alexander Sabin of the Soviet Union. Important that the U.S. not let the Soviet Union get points here. Set by U.S. Good power from the outside. Good save by the United States. Kachkarai coming on strong now. Kachkarai starting to look like he did in the first 2 games. And if the U.S. is going to have a chance to win, he's going to have some good hitting from the outside. U.S. trailing 11-10, and this is the 5th and deciding game. We'll be back with the conclusion. Good save by the Soviet Union. Set by the United States. Tipped off the U.S. player. Side out, Soviet Union.
It was a nice play by the Soviets. It looked like Craig Buck was wide open in the middle. All of a sudden, their block got the ball. Their defense got it back, and they sided out. That's a big block for the USA. They needed to stop the Soviets from scoring. They did. Jeff Stork's back to serve.
If you've just joined us, Jeff Stork has only been with the team 2 weeks. He's the setter. He puts the ball in play for the hitters. He's replaced Dusty Dvorak, who is not here playing in Italy. It's been kind of tough on him. A lot of pressure. The inexperience and trying to get the timing down. What effect has that had tonight?
Well, it's had a great effect. I think he's come back and has said very well. He hasn't got a lot of experience with this team. He was a great college player at Pepperdine, and it's showing that he's been well trained and he's playing well.
Okay, Soviet Union serving, leading 11-10. Aldous Berzins. Good outside hit by Powers. He was a little weak during the final 2 games here, but but outstanding in the beginning, and also was great hitting in the Olympics, as we might remember.
Well, Pat Powers is one of those players that's on and off, a very strong player. He's been playing great since before the Olympics. We need him now. The United States needs him now to win this match.
Okay, Craig Buck serving. U.S. a chance to pull even here. There's the power, though, of the Soviet Union. They've been really coming on strong with that these past 2 games. Albert Dillenberg there, a newcomer to the team. Only 23 years of age, and they feel very high on him. Jeff Floyd serving. Good block by the Soviet Union, now leading 12-10.
Bob, that hurts tremendously. That's the setter for the Soviets, Zaitsev, blocking the big Pat Powers, USA's main outside hitter.
Receiving serve, Karai.
Out!
Final game here. Soviet Union leading 12-10. Very important point here. The U.S. cannot let the Soviet Union get ahead now any more than they are. Dillenberg. Saved by Karai. Zaitsev setting to the outside, and there's the power. The man who has been so strong here today, Vladimir Shurikin of the Soviet Union, 6'7", and he is strong, and the United States calls timeout. Let's listen to Coach Doug Beal.
When you back way off the net, then you're not going to get there. And you still broad jumping to try to get there. You got to be right there. Peeps. Real flat into the deep cross-court corner. The angle, they're doing a nice job of digging the angle. Right, flat into that. Nice playing, you guys. Keep listening. Inside out. Keep listening. When Stork's shooting for that ball, okay? Let him go, okay? Come on. In this game. Hey, USA.
You can hear Coach Beal telling Pat Powers to hit the ball, not so sharp, more into the corners, because the Soviets are digging that cross-court to get a put away.
By digging, we mean they're getting down and getting low and really getting good defensively. Something the U.S. has played very well tonight. However, the Soviet Union is doing everything well right now.
They are, and they're in control of this match. The USA, it's imperative they get a side out here to stay in this match.
Dillenberg serving for the Soviet Union. Mike Dodd of the United States, right in the middle.
You can see Doug Beal looks a little concerned. I think he feels he got to score here. Need a tough serve from all his Berzins.
Substitution. Dillenberg coming out, being replaced by Pavel Shalivanov, 32-year-old veteran of the Soviet Union, who told us last night that this might be his final trip. So he would love to go out with a win.
That's a bad break, Bob. The U.S. blockers were called netting. They had a dig. They have to recover from that. Sometimes it can just destroy them.
13-10, Soviet Union, and serving. Koch Karai from the outside. Good hit by Karai. 4-time All-American from UCLA. Once again, if you've just joined us, you can only gain points in volleyball while you're serving. Pat Powers serving for the United States. A chance now to get a couple of much-needed points. Karai. Blocked out of bounds. Point for the U.S. Now trailing 13-11.
Jeff Stork wisely is going to Karsh Karai every time he can. He's the man that's kept him in this match, and he's going to try and win it for him.
Powers serving, hoping to bring this match closer to even. Zaitsev.
Shurikin again.
Side out. U.S.
USA.
Vladimir Shurikin, number 5, has been outstanding all night. We have substitution now. Dave Saunders coming in for Pat Powers of the United States.
They bring in Saunders back there to get some defense out of the back row. Hopefully he can take the ball.
That's Karai. Good save by the U.S. Saunders. Karai again. Set by Zaitsev. There's the power once again of the Soviet Union. They've come on strong in the last 3 games. That was Alexander Savin. 27, been on the team since 1976.
We saw Zaitsev, the Soviet center, moving the ball to 2 different hitters for a put away and a point.
Okay, we have match point, 14-11. Zaitsev sets. Saved by the U.S. That's Karai. Good save by the Soviet Union. Good save by Dave Saunders. Great butt. Match is won by the Soviet Union. They lost the first game 15-12. They lost the second game 15-13. Then they came back to win 15-8, 15-8, and have now won the fifth and deciding game, 15-11. Kirk, this was a big win for the Soviet Union, obviously. What does it mean now for the U.S.?
Well, I think the U.S. can't be completely disappointed in this match. They had two big changes from the Olympic Games. The Soviet came here with their Olympic team intact. I think the U.S. With the situation, the change of players, Stork in for Dusty Dvorak and Mike Dodd in for Steve Timmons, they can't feel awfully bad about this match.
On the other hand, this was a great match, a great win for the Soviet Union. They have a very powerful team. They came in here. They kind of ended up in those final three games doing what they do best, and that's just overpowering everybody. Once again, the United States came on to win the first two games, 15-12, 15-13. Soviet Union came back to win the next three in rather convincing fashion. Was a great match. Bob Beatty for Kirk Kilgore. That's it from Kyoto, Japan.